Hey everybody, welcome to Houdini Hangout. We are in November. Welcome to another month, another stream. Sorry, the title seems to have gotten messed up on my stream. I noticed that when I was going live. My restreaming service seems to have changed their UI, and I thought I knew how to update it, but doesn't seem to have done the right thing. So that's okay for now. Hopefully it will work out. I don't know. Anyways, good evening. Welcome, everybody. My name's Peter. I'm the host of Houdini Hangout. And so we're here to kind of do a continuation of what we did last time. Hope everyone's fine. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. I let the clock tick down a little extra tonight because I was like doing many things. Yes, everyone hopefully is good. Pretty soon I'll be streaming from my new house. I've got the internet all set up there, and we're getting ready to start moving things over. So within the next couple weeks, I'll be streaming from there. So that'll be really exciting. Maybe be able to up the quality a little bit of the stream and get some better, some better bandwidth and stuff like that. But for tonight, I'm in my old apartment doing the stream. And like I said, we're going to be continuing on talking about this condensation setup that we were doing last week. We've got some things that we want to add to it, and we'll kind of, see what we can get into, see what kind of details we can get into. Other than that, well, I actually had, just on a fun work note, I was able to go to the University of Utah and do a little workshop there with some Solaris USD stuff and moving USD over to Unreal. It was really fun. Got to meet a lot of students there. I think we had maybe 30 or 40 students in the class, and it was just generally a lot of fun. Had some really great conversations and discussion. Talked about some different ways to bring data from Houdini over to Unreal, and it was just generally a good time, and nice to get to see some folks in person and do some teaching live. So that was cool. Hey, good evening, Accessible. Welcome. So if you are with us this evening live, please feel free to drop some comments in the chat to be able to, if you have any questions or thoughts or anything like that. Oh, look at that. I don't know. You've got cool letters there. I don't know. You speak in other languages. That's cool. Sorry, I gotta mute my Discord here. Yep, that's what I don't know what that just did. Huh. What do I know about Houdini 30? Well, I just recently was Houdini 30. That's pretty good. Houdini 30 is a long way off, I think. So it'll be a little while before we get there. Anyways, so if you guys have any thoughts or questions or anything like that, and you're joining and you're live on the stream this evening, please feel free to drop comments, questions, things like that in the chat. Please. Oh, it's French. Oh, cool. Awesome. I was just, speaking of French, we were just talking about when we were at the University of Utah, we were just talking about some of the other schools on the demo reel and stuff like that for side effects and with our education and stuff like that, and just talking about some of the French schools. There's so many awesome French schools out there teaching 3D, so it's pretty cool. I really appreciate, especially after SIGGRAPH and seeing all the French schools that were on the demo reel or on the electronic theater. It was like, wow, this is really impressive stuff. Really cool things. So anyways, hats off to the French schools out there. Anyways, yeah, I know, Kevin. I know, that's okay. 30 will be here, before you know it. I mean, what are we at? Let's see. I mean, maybe we'll see. If we keep getting these half releases, I don't know. Maybe I'll be an old man by the time 30 comes out. or maybe we'll all be like doing like CG, like we'll just have our eyes closed all day and have like some sort of like mask on and just be in a pod. I don't know. We'll see. Yes. I'm just making sure I'm not missing out any of the chats here. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Everything looks good. Just checking to make sure that I'm not missing any chats back and forth. I wish to test Houdini. Hey Zach, how's it going, man? I wish to test Houdini 1 before Houdini 30. Yeah, I've never used some of the older versions of Houdini. The first version I ever used was Houdini 15, something around there, I want to say. Right before the UI change. So that was about as recent of a Houdini build as I've used. So yeah, anyways. Cool. Well, yeah, if you guys have any questions, thoughts, anything I should be doing better, anything I'm doing that's stupid, always feel free to reach, to make a comment and say, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Or what about this? This is obviously, I'm not, the be all end all to Houdini. I just love, doing this stuff and getting to, chat and share with everybody, And, if you have questions or thoughts, somebody else is going to have questions as well. This is an open space. This will be an open space for anybody to ask questions that relate to Houdini. And it'll also be a politics safe space. There's no politics here. So we're just going to have a good time. Yeah, maybe they have the long lasting viewport bug sorted by version 30. Yes. That would be I think the goal. Sorry, I'm just readjusting myself here. Sorry if I'm smashing my microphone. I feel like I'm far away from my computer. And my eyes, oh God, sorry guys. I'm going to take a little quick tangent here. My eyes, man. I'm starting to get to the point where like I have my contacts in. I don't have them in right now, but when I have my contacts in, I'm having a harder and harder time reading. Like I'm going to need reading glasses really soon. And my eye doctor basically said, oh, you're 39? Oh, yeah, that sounds about right. And I was just like, this is brutal, guys. It's brutal. So I don't know how many of you else are out there that are similar age, but the struggle's real. So, yeah. So I'm like, every time I like have a hard time focusing on something, I'm like, no, don't do it yet. Don't do it. Don't give in. But anyways, so anyways, enough chatting. Let's get switched over here and do some Houdini stuff and kind of get back into where we were with this drop sim. All right, so if any of you were with us last time, this is what we had going on. We had a little, condensation type setup here. We had some droplets that were kind of rolling down. These red ones are the close points, I want to say, like points that were being triggered. If it's important for your comfort, you'll get used to it. Yeah, for sure. Yep, the glasses thing. Yeah, I'll get used to it. It's just, it's just frustrating. You get used to having the same eyesight, more or less. Same style of eyesight for 30 years, and then you're like, oh God, I gotta get used to reading with the glasses and taking out my reading glasses and all that stuff. It's so funny. Anyways, yeah, it's not a big deal. I'll be fine, but it's just funny. It's a funny thing. Anyway, so what these are doing right now is we have these drops that are kind of drifting down the screen here. Maybe we'll color I can't remember if I had the backdrop colored or not. Maybe that'll be a little easier to see. Yeah, it's maybe a little better. So we had it where these were coloring based on their closeness to like adjacent like points and stuff like that. So like when they get to be touching, we're basically seeing them and we can actually delete and remove them and stuff like that. So we hadn't gotten to that step yet. But one thing I think I would like to do before we get to that is I would really like to vary maybe the starting time of these drops, because they all start simultaneously and that's a little weird. So I think what we could do is maybe do some varying stuff here. I just want to kind of remember where we were with this. So there's the points coming down. We've got those drips. Yeah, cool. We're sticking it to the surface, so that was important. We've got a wind working as a gravity force. And yeah, this is what we've got here. We've got these points that aren't in this active group. So I think what we want to do is let's put a start frame on these points, right? These points that are going to be activated here. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that one was like doing some weird dancing around here. Oh yeah, that is really weird. That one's going like back. Where did it go? It's right there. It's like coming back up. Yeah, that's weird. Let me just see here. I think I added some curl noise, and the amplitude is being driven by this. And I think sorry, just remembering where we are here. Let's see, we're multiplying this by the noise by a vector field. Yeah, maybe this needs to be like 0.5 so we don't have it going up too much. It's probably better. Just looked like it was like coming back up, and that's really not what we want. Yeah, that seems good. Okay. Anyways, just adjusting some noise here. All right, so what we want to do, let's take these points and give them like a start frame that we can work with and start putting them into that group, because all of this stuff is happening to our active group, right? All of this, pretty much everything we're doing here is happening to this active group. And other than that, we aren't actually moving any of the points because they're not in that group. So let's take our active points here. So we have our in particles, which should have an active group already on it. And so that's good. We can use that to our advantage and do an attribute adjust integer. And I'm going to put this down here. Oh, that's weird. Didn't wire in. So let's put this down here, and we can use this to do a random value, and we can add a min and max, and let's just call this start frame. And let's see, where do we want this to start at? This isn't going to really change anything with our simulation, so let's just see where that goes. Maybe we have them start between 1 and 96. That should be good. So we'll do 196. And if we look at that, our geometry spreadsheet, we will see that we have our integer here. We've got our start frame, so that's good. And so what we're going to do is whenever this, I do this quite often with stuff. I think I really like to have these, taking notes. I really like to do this, because it gives me a nice way to kind of compare something against, something else with an attribute versus just like, having it all go at one time, or try to do something where you're like animating attributes or something like that. It's just nice to have this like static attribute that you can kind of compare against, right? That you're putting into the network. So I think what we're actually going to do is not have this, okay, let's do this. We're going to change this group to something else. Let's call this candidate, maybe? Sorry, I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, but that doesn't have to be a political term, candidate. But so these are available points. Maybe I'll do that. Available. There we go. Like I said, no politics. And we'll use the available points here to drive this attribute adjust integer. Why that's not coming up, I don't know, but it's okay. Available. There we go. And so now we should have start frames that are at 0 except for on our available frames. And there we go. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the default value and change that to -1. So that should mean that all of our other points are -1, and we shouldn't ever have an equivalent frame for that. That basically is going to be a non-frame because it's never going to be equal to that. So in this case, since we have whole numbers, we can say whenever the frame is equal to it, we can have it move over into the active group. So that's what we'll do now. Let's take this and I think we could wire it in here up at the top here on the left. So let's do this. Let's do a pop wrangle, another one, some more custom stuff. So let's do this. I'll make this a little bigger. Let's say this is only going to run over the group available. And we're going to say that we're going to do an if statement and say if at capital F frame, because that's a built-in vex function or vex attribute that you can use. So if at frame is equal to double equals, we'll say I at start frame. So whenever those two are equal, what are we going to do here? So let's say at group available equals 0 and at group what was I calling it? Active, I think. Yeah, active equals 1. We need semicolons after those. So basically we're just going to set the group available to 0, the group active to 1. So we've taken the group out of the available group, set it to the active group, and we should be all set. So let's see if that works. Because right now we don't have anything being colored blue. And let's see what happens here. Yeah, that seems to be working. Maybe we'll even make it a little bit more. Maybe we'll make it even a little bit more varied. I don't know. It seems like it's still a little bunched together there. So let's do this. Let's just take our attribute adjust integer, and we'll go up to, gosh, I don't know, 144, I guess. Let's try that. Let's see how that goes. Let's see here. Yeah, that's cool. That's looking good. Getting some random movement there. Okay. So now we've got these drops randomized, which is nice. I think that's going to make a lot nicer of an output. The other thing that we might want to look into here is, well, first of all, we could maybe take those drops when they're touching. That touching is done by this calculation here, which, let me just re-look over this here. So we're getting a close point, close position, the close p scale, and then we're calculating the distance versus the total p scale. And then if the distance is less than the total p scale, and the close point is not equal to point number, because we were finding that the close point was returning the actual point itself, because we were doing the search over it included the current point in the search that we were doing. So as long as it doesn't include that, we are all set, and that's good. So sorry, just checking something there. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to, I have this in the background and I don't want this to be playing. Oh, that's fine. Whatever. Anyways. All right. So yeah, so that's what's happening there. We have this touching integer value that we're creating, and we're coloring those based on that. We're actually adding a CD, but we could just visualize the touching, but I added the CD in there just so that we could see it more easily in our dynamics network here, in our pop network. Okay, so that's all working. What we could do is bu- 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 bum. So we could take this now. I'm actually going to remove this. I don't think we need that at all. We could remove the points, right, that are getting close to this. So let's go through here and see what's happening here. So we've got these points. So like as it's going down the bottle here, we're getting close to points. Interesting. Oh, that must be a really big point that we're touching there. I'm going to look at this up a level here just to see exactly what's happening. Oh, that's really interesting. There's like a really tiny point there that it hits. Huh. That's curious. Well, anyways, looks like most of them are working the way we'd want it to. So, I think what we could do here, so what I'm thinking is that I'd really like for these droplets to kind of jump a little bit to that new position once they touch, right? So like maybe, yeah, so like when these things touch like this, I would really like for them to kind of like merge together and become maybe a little bit bigger. I think that would be kind of cool. We could also have these moving based on mass, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. So let's go to gravity force here and see, because we have P scale. We could set a mass to these. Is this our, no, that's here. This is our P scale attribute. So we have, let me look at our, yeah, yeah, meta balls would sort of work. I feel like it, I honestly, yeah, I mean, I feel like I would, I feel like meta balls might be a little, yeah, it could work actually. But let me first think about this first. So yeah, I think that's an interesting thought, Fractaler. But I'm not sure if that's going to be as easy. Like, be inside the bottle too, right? Oh, the meta balls you're saying? Yeah, I mean, what we would eventually do is VDB it and then subtract the inside of the bottle. That's your best, kind of your best bet, I think. Yeah, that could be a little harder to deal with because yeah, I think a VDB would probably be better because yeah, subtracting a meta ball would be pretty tricky. And you're going to get some of that blobbiness with the VDBs with like smoothing and doing some dilation and adjustment and stuff like that. So, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, it feels intuitively right. I think you just might get better results with the VDBs. But yeah, we can try that out in a little bit. So let's take this and let's adjust this based on the mass. So just trying to think if there's a quick way that we could do a mass calculation here. If there's a node that would do that for us. I don't think there is any. I don't think the measure one can do that. Point cloud measure. No. Does this have like a? I don't think it'll give us the volume of these points based on. I mean, let me see. Let's say volume. No, it's great. I love the ideas. I always like to hear what people have to say, so it's great. No, that won't work. Okay, so let's think. So we need to do I think we need to do a volumetric calculation for these spheres, and then let's see. Let's do a little Google here. Let's see what the Hey Vishnu, welcome. Let's see here. What is a mass formula for I don't know. Let's see. Mass formula. Density times volume. Okay. Great. Haven't been in. Oh, yeah, right. That's a good point. I was thinking pi r squared, but you're right. It is 4/3 times pi r cubed, right? Because I'm not thinking of that properly. Thank you, Crino. Thank you for the formula. Okay, so let's do our volume. We'll get the volume of those spheres, and then, like I said, the mass is the density times the volume. And yeah, I don't think we have to worry about the half. Yeah, I know what you're saying, like, because it's a half of a sphere, right? Sorry, I'm just moving my Discord over here. Sorry for that. Oh, cool. Good, Vishnu. I'm glad it helped. Yeah, Colonel, I think that that would make sense. It doesn't really matter because they're all going to be relative to each other, right? I just wanted to get some sort of like a mass formula of some sort. Yeah, you could do half, I guess. It'd probably be roughly the same. Cool. All right, let's do that math then. Let's get some mass and some density, or some mass. What's happening here? Why is that not popping up? That was really weird. Is my keyboard not working or something? That's weird. All right, so let's do a point wrangle. And let's throw that down. Okay, cool. So we've got our P scale, which should be our radius, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that means that we've got to do, let's see here. Let's call this float volume equals, and we can do 4 divided by 3 times, can we do, I'm trying to think. There's a way to add pi in here, and I can't think of it right now. Is it like an include? Can we do add? I can't remember that right now. If anybody remembers that, I would love for you to throw that in the chat. But if not, I'm just going to look this up here. Yeah, it's PI, but do I have to include anything, or can I just... There we go. Okay. I have to include math.h. There we go. Oh, hello. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Times pi times oh yeah, so I think if I do power, right, I think that's a float n, and that's the exponent. All right, cool. So then that would be f at p scale to the third, right? Yep. Okay, let me just I'm just going to make a test variable just to see this, make sure this is giving us a reasonable thing, and they're very tiny values. Sure, that makes sense. Great. They're going to be very, very small, but that's okay. I think we'll do all right with that. All right, so we've got our volume, and then our float mass is going to be equal to 1,000, or sorry, density. Is going to be equal to 1,000. That's roughly the density of water. So we'll do that, and then we'll just say f at mass equals volume times density. There we go. Math. Cool. We've got some values that are actually showing up here and some that are really tiny, which should make sense. We've got some decent sized spheres and some really tiny ones. Now, the only ones that are actually going to move are going to be the ones that are like the available ones, and then those are going to get converted into active points. But I think here we can say, let's not ignore the mass and let's see how this goes. See what happens here. Okay, interesting. I was thinking that some would go a little faster. It's interesting. But they all seem to be going at roughly the same scale. Is that because they're all roughly the same size? I guess that could be the other thing here, is that they might all be relatively the same mass. So let's just double check that. Let's sort by available. And is our mass all pretty much the same? Oh, that's right. I did sort it roughly by, yeah, they're all pretty close. Yeah, maybe it's not going to make that big of a difference. All right. I might have to sit on that for a second and think about that while we're doing some of this other stuff here. Yeah, because the mass isn't going to change too drastically. What we could also do too, which would maybe make this a little, I'm going to turn the ignore mass back on because then we'll be basically right back to where we, oh, yeah, like exactly. Yeah, doing some sort of a range I think would work nicely here. I'm just going to go back. I can't remember what that was set to. It's 0.1. Okay. And I'm going to ignore the mass. So what we could also do here is we could use the air resistance as well, because that would be kind of like a global scale, right? Because if the air resistance is 0, then that means we have like a 0 to 1 value that we could use. Like I think if I turned the air resistance to 0 here, they're not going to move at all. Yep. So we could technically use that with like a Vexpression or even doing some other fanciness with it. So we could map that for sure. Yeah, let's try that. Why not? Okay, so what is our range here for that? Let's look at this again. Got available. Our mass is between 0.0001 and so it's probably even lower than that, 5. And then, yeah, so I think that would be 0.00002, maybe, something like that. So let's see how that might work. Let's go into here, and we should be able to do this and say, what is air resistance called here? Air resist equals, and then we can just say fit, and then we'll say F at mass, and the low end is going to be, or the, yeah, 0.00000. Let's just do 1 there for right now, and then say on the high end it'll be 0.0001, like that. And let's just give this a really small value for the low end, like maybe 0.1, and then on the high end we'll just have it be 1. Let's see what that does. Yeah, looks like some of them are going really slow. Okay. Yeah, that could work, because if we're going to be messing with the mass, then that'll be messing with the air resistance as well. I think it is. Here, let's do this. Totally put 0 there. Just see if that's doing anything for us. Any of them not moving. Let's see, what if we do like that? Yep. Okay. Some of them aren't moving at all now. Cool. So let's do this. We'll just make it like that, and we'll do 0.1 there, and that should give us a pretty nice amount of variance here. And the other good thing is that this will actually it'll naturally clamp any speed, so we're not going to get like runaway speeds on us or anything like that. And if you're not familiar with these Vexpressions, I just want to maybe just reiterate how this is working here. So when you do a Vexpression like this, you can just use the parameter name, which in this case is air resist, and you just write the parameter name right like that, and then set that equal to whatever you want it to be. So in this case, then we just write a vex function and have it map those values for us. Which is quite helpful. So there we go. Cool. So now let's try to add some stuff to this. I think what we're going to want to do is work with this value here. Because what I want to do, I'm going to minimize this. What I want to do is I want to grab the this near point, basically this close point, and get the mass of that maybe and the p-scale, and then that way we can, I think we should be able to just add the masses together, or we could have it recalculate the volume, like redo this, not this calculation, but this calculation that we did here. We could do that again with the p-scale as if we're changing it, right? Because if we get these 2 points that are close together, what I'd like to do is have them merge, right? Get a little bit bigger, and then delete the one that's being merged, right? So that's like my goal there. So let's see how we could do this. So, all right. And I'd like to move, like, I'd like to go, like, move the, you know how they kind of jump with the, when they merge together, they kind of like snap to each other almost. So I'd like it to go proportional to how big the drop that it's merging with is, because if it's a really big drop and there's two things close together, the surface tension is going to like make it basically even. But if it's a small one, that's just going to kind of get sucked in to that drop. So that's my little idea there. So let's see here. Let's see what this looks like anyways. We can maybe just kind of look at this a little bit more, think about it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, like see this little one right here? This one's going to gain a ton of like size right there. So I think that would be really cool to like have it really like ramp up. The other thing that we could do as well, I mean, there's a lot of ideas here, is have those droplets, like have it drop off like little droplets every so often behind itself. That's very realistic and would also like, because it's going down, so it's shedding a little bit of its own, P scale or whatever. So yeah, that could be another thing that we might want to do as well. I'm trying to think of how to describe that, right? Because we're talking about the volume of this sphere that's slowly going to be going down as it drops little pieces of itself off. So the scale of that volume would have to be subtracted from, we'll think about that in a second. Anyways, let's do the merging thing first, because I think that'll be cool. We could just delete them as they go along, like we kind of already have that set up, and I'll just show you maybe how that would work, because we have that more or less working here. So if we did this here with the touching, well, you could actually just come down to the end of this here. So that'd actually be pretty easy to do now that I'm thinking of it. Here we go. So we should have a touching attribute right here. So as we go through it here, and I'm going to take out, undo that. So now we should have all of these points that are touching. And so in that case, what you could honestly just do is do a blast and just points and just say at touching equals 1. And that should get rid of all the touching ones. So now when we look at this down here, we'll see that as those drips kind of start to go down, they're going to suck up those other ones. Now they're not going to get any bigger or do any of that kind of stuff. And so we still have some stuff to be solved there, but that's the non like programmatic way of doing it, right? So that's kind of cool. Now what we would want to do is, so that's one way we could do it, but we're not going to do it that way. Let's come over here, and we could also say distance, total p scale, blah, blah, blah. We could say that the, say remove, oops. Sorry, I need to turn on my focus assist there. Let's see, remove point, and we're going to remove from 0, and the point number is going to be close PT. And this should do pretty much the exact same thing that the other one was doing. It should do the exact same thing. Oh. Interesting. Why is it doing? Okay, maybe I'm not thinking of something right here. Yeah, I'll try that. Yeah, maybe I'm just reading this wrong. I could be totally reading that wrong. Well, let's try it. Point, no, let's try it. I don't think that's, is it doing it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Interesting. Why? I was just reading that wrong. Thank you. Thank you, Enki. Nice call. Hmm. Oh, right. Yes. Yes, good call. Because we're running this the opposite. We are running this. Yeah. That's exact. You're right. Yes. I was thinking that yeah, I'm not reading this properly. I'm thinking that we're getting the close point to the moving one, but we're not. We're getting the close point to the static one. So that's why. Right. Perfectly logical. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that and calling me out. That's great. Thank you. That's why it's nice to have some other folks here looking at this, learning together. Okay, cool. So that would be how you would do it programmatically, like here within the solver, and then that way you wouldn't have any weirdness of like duplicating like calculations on points. If we were doing that, like this would be the better way to do that, right? You wouldn't want to keep that point there and then possibly have 2 points refer to the same thing at some point and then that could cause some weirdness, especially if you start doing other things. So removing it in this way makes probably the most sense because you're doing it within the simulation. Pardon me. Right. So let's look at how okay, so we're from the static point to that moving point. Interesting. Maybe I should have done it the other way. That might be tricky. Just thinking. Yeah, that might be the wrong order to do that because really what we want to do is we want to move the animating, like the simulating point, over to the position of the static point. Which actually we could do, right? There's no reason we can't do that. Just a different way of doing it. You just write the process a little differently. Yeah, that's fine. That should be totally fine. Let's see here. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the direction of these points. So let's just for now comment these out. Oops. We can use that remove point in a second, but we want to get the direction between these 2 points, right? So let's do that. So let's see, we're gonna need yeah, let's just say v at dir. We're going to make a vector here just so I can visualize it in the viewport, make sure I'm drawing this in the right direction. So we want it to go, I always do this backwards. I wish I knew this better. I think I want to do the, So that would be the far point. So if we do the close pause, that's the position of the point that's moving. And then do that minus v at p, which is the current point. Let's see here. Can we visualize that in here? Let's just go up here, and I will do dir, turn that on. And let's just look at these actual points. Oh, no, that's not visualizing. Just go in here, and we'll say a not a color. We want a marker vector. Oh, I'm seeing some vectors there. Cool. That is definitely difficult to see. Why are we seeing that? There we go. Okay, I think that's right. Yep, that should be good. All right, so we have a vector between those two, and that's the direction that we want this to move between. And I think, let's see. Let's go back in here. So we've got this direction, so I can just rename this to be vector dir, like that. And so now we want to take so the close position is the animating point position. So what we can do is we can say, we'll make another vector and call it oh, you know what? Actually, we could do this all in one. We don't have to do that. We can also calculate the difference between the two p scales, right? So we can calculate how much we want it to move in that direction, right? So we've got that vector, and we can scale it by the ratio between the two sizes of those points. So let's do that. So we've got our close p scale, which is the animating point. We have our actual p scale on the point that we're on. So let's do, what's the ratio of, well, let's just try one. It should be the, we'll do float. Call this vector scale because we're going to, geez, hitting every button. Vec scale equals, we'll do close p scale divided by f at p scale. And that should give us a, actually, let's do this. F at, we'll just see what that looks like first before we go too far here. We can actually just look at it right here. Let's look at vec scale. Okay, 9.8, cool. No. That's not gonna work. because we're getting 6 and that's not right. So let's just flip this around maybe. Maybe that's not the best way of doing this. I guess we could just fit it because it can't go more than that. So yeah, maybe we just fit it if it's past 1. Yeah, we can do that, I think. Here, let's see. Let's see what our values range from here at the end. 9. We have some smaller ones, but not many. Maybe I'm just doing that wrong. Let's just try flipping these. Honestly, I wish I was a little bit better at like thinking about all this math in my head, but also it's 7 o'clock at night and I've worked all day, so maybe my brain's just not cooperating with all the maths very well. This might be better. Yes, I think already this feels intuitively more correct. Yep. Yeah, this already feels more correct. Okay. So let's do that. That'll be our vector scale. That's going to scale our direction. So we'll say float vec scale. And then we've got that all taken care of there. And then if we take our direction, do this, and then let's do this. Let's do fit. Or we can just do clamp, right? We can do clamp. Yep, we'll do that clamped between 0 and 1. That'll be easy enough. And then with this here, we'll multiply this times that vec scale. And let's look at this again. Actually, let's do this again. And I don't know if we still have our, yeah, we have our direction point attribute still on. Where did those guys? Oh, no, I don't have it on. There we go. And let's see what the scale of these things look like here. So ghost those? Yeah, that should work. That should give us a better visualization here. Then we can actually see that scale. Yep, and that should pretty much jump all the way there because it's much bigger. So it'll snap over. Let's see if we can find one where a bigger drop hits a smaller drop. Like this. Yep, and that's just a little bit that we're going to add on to this. So it's just going to be a small amount of adjustment. You can see it right there. Just a small, vector added that will add to this. Okay, I think that's right. I think that feels good. So let's come back in here. And now so we got those two things calculated, and that gives us that nice scaled vector. And then from there, I think what we can do is just add that on, I think, to the moving point. So let's see if that'll work. I mean, maybe this won't work at all, but we'll give it a shot. So let's say set point attrib. Just remember what the function of this is. In fact, maybe F1 that. Will that bring up that function, please? No. Okay, so let's just say set point attrib. I just like to have these up so I can read them while I'm doing my functions and stuff. Okay, so there we go. There's our thing. So we're going to have geohandle 0. The name of the attribute that we're going to be getting setting is P. The point number is going to be close point. because this time we are working on that one, not the point num. And the value is going to be, well, let's change this here. We'll say vector dir, then we'll just say here, we'll do one more vector. We'll say vector move position equals, and then we'll take the close position and add the direction to it, or maybe we'll subtract it from it. We'll see. I might get that one wrong. That kind of actually feels like it might be a subtract, but we'll see. Okay. And then this value is going to be that move position. And the, oh, right, there is actually an add or subtract in here, I think, right? There's an add. Oh, I can actually try that. That's kind of interesting. I could just do dir. Yeah, let's try that. Let's give that a shot. It's in there, so let's do it. We'll do add, and that's just going to add it to that. Then we'll hit semicolon. Great. This might totally freak out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. So these should move when we... Yeah. That is not doing what we want it to, so that's okay. All right, so let's do move pause, and I think this is actually going to be subtracted by direction. And we're actually going to need to remove that point in order to do this properly. No, it isn't a subtract. Interesting. Okay, let's add this one back in, the remove point, so it'll get rid of it. And let's just see what happens here. Let's kind of watch this and see if anything happens that even seems remotely correct. I am going to ghost this again just to... Hello? There we go. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I don't want that visualized, so let's just do that. No, that is not. Oh, right. Let's do this as set. That's what we want to do. It's so close. It should be just jumping the other way, I feel like. I feel like it's jumping the wrong direction. Huh. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of fun, but it's not right. Okay, my math is wrong here. Hey, there you go. Thank you. Zach, the delay got me there. Yes, thank you for the the note. Yes, 100%. And I think now that I'm yeah, big delay. All right, I'm kind of thinking that I need to negate that, maybe the direction. All right, let me try this. Let me just visualize this again. I'm just gonna comment these back out. I just want to visualize this and see if I can get this pointing in the other direction. The add direction. Yeah, I think it's subtract instead of add as well. Maybe I just was doing it the wrong way. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, maybe I just was doing the wrong thing altogether, because that seems to be working. All right. So let's just go back here. Vector dir. Let's do this. Minus direction. Yeah, because I had it on add before, so it was doing some weird stuff there. It was like doing a subtract and then adding it. So it was doing some really funky stuff. All right, let's see if this works. Whoa. Why are we getting calculations for all those? It's really odd. All right, let's see. Let us see what is happening here. Yeah, it's doing something. It's kind of doing its thing. They're not changing size yet, but they are sort of doing it. That's kind of cool. And if we had the trails in there, let's just see here. What would that look like? Oh, no, it's doing it. Yeah, I think what would make more sense is to do like, well, it's sort of working. Let's just keep going with it a little bit here and see where we can get. If you have suggestions, you can always drop them in the chat if you think like, oh, this would be a better way of doing that. But okay. All right. Let's go in here. Shade him with eye. Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Rich Lord in a bit. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Rich Lord stuff is nuts. He was really cool. I think I met him at SIGGRAPH like not this past year, but the year before. He's really cool. Sorry, I was drinking on mic. That's a one that'll drive people crazy. Sorry about that. Okay, so I think what we'll want to do is calculate the volumes together, add those together, and then get the p-scale out of it. So I think that's the smartest way to do this because the volumes will come together and merge, and then the p-scale will react to that merge. And I don't think that it's going to be... I don't think that it's going to be proportional. I guess maybe it would be. I'm trying to think of that. Like if you could just add the p-scales together, but I don't think you can because I think that'll get too large because you're yeah, I don't think that'll work. Yeah, I agree. Half the distance would be good. Maybe I should just half that move position. Because I was scaling it, but maybe I should half the scale of them. Maybe that, yeah, that's a great point. Let's try that. Let's do close this. We'll divide it by 2 there. So then the move position will be half of that that scaled, because it's already scaling it, right? The vector scale is scaling it based on the size of those particles. But yeah, let's half it and see what goes on there. See how that works. Huh? Why are they disappearing? Oh, right. That won't work because I'm dividing it by, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, let's do this. We'll multiply it by 0.5 there. That's going to scale it. It's like, why is that not working? That's so weird. All right, let's try that. Yeah, that does feel better. So so we're getting that scaled, amount already, and then we can multiply that by some sort of attribute, right? So, or by some sort of value. So you could just have an arbitrary value that you'd scale it by for that, like finer control of how this is actually going to work, right? So that control, then that value here, this 0.5, you could set this to be you could just do times 0, and then it's shouldn't move at all. Yeah, it should just simply remove the points and it won't move at all. So then that value is kind of a scalar value that you can use to kind of even reduce that more if you'd like to. So say you wanted it to be a quarter. Yeah, we could just do this times 0.25. And then that'll just be a way more subtle movement as well. It'll still react, like when there's bigger ones, it'll react a bigger amount. But yeah, it won't do anything when there's it won't do quite as much if there's small ones. So yeah, that's a great call. Yeah, really good. Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. I was kind of hoping that the size of them would affect it, but yeah, that's a good point. That maybe it is there's some fractional difference there that needed to be added in as well. Oh, it's a great intuition. Really good. Oftentimes that's one of my blind spots, is that I'll just be like, let's just do all math and not really think about the way it looks sometimes. Like that's just I'm way too technical sometimes for some of these things. So like my brain just kind of goes like, math will do it all for me. And yeah, this is math, but like I'm just like trying to like think of it in some really specific way. So yeah, I appreciate that, Zach. That's really, really great point. So maybe I might give it a little more than that, maybe like 0.35, just a little bit more, just to see it happening a little bit more than it was. But yeah, that's cool. Little something special. All right, so now let's think about that, because we have this volume calculation that we need to do. I wonder if I can probably find the reverse of that math. So let's see. Radius of sphere from volume. Is there a function that does that? Looks like it's like a cube root that I have to do, which is actually quite messy. So if we have yeah, that's what I'm definitely going to do. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do this here, f at volume. So yeah, just kernel is just saying to hello. What is going on with my keyboard today? My wife was saying that this was acting funny. It's a wireless one. I bet you the batteries are just going on it. F at volume, we'll just say f at volume. That should be right. Cool. And then that'll store through there and we can use that. Oh, the power of a third. Oh, good point. Thank you. Yes. Great point, Enki. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wasn't even thinking of that. Okay, so then we can just add the volumes together. So let's do, we'll do this float floor. Close vol. And then we'll do the same thing here, except we'll get the volume of it. Say volume. And then what we can do is we can we'll just say here, we'll set a okay, so we're going to want to up the mass as well and the volume. Yeah, we're going to want to do all of them, which is annoying, but that's okay. So we can just say f at volume plus equals the close volume. Okay, I'm going to move this down here. I'm just going to, okay, we don't need these anymore, I don't think. So let's get rid of those. I'm just going to say here like set attributes. And then this will obviously just be remove static point. That needs to be a comment, not just a slash. All right, set attributes. All right, there we go. So we're going to do, so we're adding the close volume to the volume. Let's just see that that is actually working. It should be working, but let's just double check it real quick here in our, oh, the other thing I'm going to do here, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to do an attribute delete. I'm just going to clean up some of the attributes that we don't need because there's a bunch coming out of here. So we can do color, normal, position, velocity. We can do ID, mass, p-scale, speed, volume. I think that should be good. We'll say delete non-selected. There we go. And now let's just look at the volume. And these should be adding up over time because if we just look at the available ones, these all should be slightly moving as they go. So let's see. Oh, right. That's the wrong one. We want to look at the active ones. Sorry. Active. There we go. I don't seem to be adding together. What did I do wrong here? Plus equals to close volume. What did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong? Getting the close volume from it. Then I'm adding it. I mean, that's really the whole thing with the volume. Yeah, pop wrangle should be able to. Don't see it's running over itself. Yeah, it should be able to get the volume. It's running over all the points. Oh. It's the static points. That's why. So stupid. Okay. Yep. We'll just make a float here called sum vol. And then we will add close vol plus f at volume. And we need to do it with the set point attribute because we're setting a different point attribute. We're not setting it to the current point. So this one we want to do volume. And we want to do close PT. And instead of the move position, we want to do sum vols. Or actually, sorry, we could just make this easier on ourselves and just say f at volume and then do add, because we want to add. The close volume is already what we have, right? For this, we're setting this to that other point, right? Because we're using the close PT. So we want to take the current point volume and add it to the close PT volume. So I think this is going to be right. Let's give this a shot. See if we actually get some volumes changing here. Yep, we're getting some volumes changing, and that seems like that's going to be right. Yeah, I don't either, but I just forgot about that. And I'm like, wait, that saves me that extra line of code, so why not, right? It's already adding. It's kind of funny that there's not like a sub for like subtract or something like that. You'd think that there should be something like that. There's like maximum, minimum, a couple other things in there. It's kind of cool. Okay, so that seems to be working. Now the problem is, nope. I need that volume, so I can't use the add. I'm just realizing, sorry, I'm realizing all the dumb things because we're going to need to do some other math with it. But that does work, but it's not right. So we're going to do this because I need that summed volume. I'll just say sum vol. Put that over here and set this to set because we are going to need this. And we're going to call this close vol plus f at volume because we're going to do some other math on this. So we need to do that. So we want to change the P scale. And that is going to be okay. So the the formula for this is going to be the cube root of 3 times the volume divided by 4 times pi. So what I'm going to do is, do I have that? Include math h. So I get pi. And we're going to call this is going to be float, we'll say sum P scale equals. And then we're going to do this all together. So we're going to do 3 times sum vol. And we're going to divide this by 4 times pi. I'm just looking this formula up here. Here's my formula. This is given the volume. We're looking at this radius equals, and then this whole thing. And then we're going to raise it to the third root like Keith mentioned. So we're going to do that. So we've got this. Cool. Let's make sure we're just getting all of our orders of operations right here, even though I think that'll be fine either way. And then let's do a power of that. And then we're going to go to the 1/3, like so. And then if we set the P scale, we can do the same thing here. Let's see. P scale. Some P scale set. All right, let's see if this works. Maybe it'll. Yeah, worried. No, that didn't. That didn't work at all. What did I miss here? Let's see. What did I miss? Hey, who cares? Hello. You're no problem. Glad to keep going with it. All right. So, what did I do wrong here? All right, let's look at this formula and see what I did wrong here. Probably read this wrong. Let's see. So I have the volume there. Maybe the volume is being calculated wrong. I guess it's possible, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. 3 times volume, 4 times. Oh, maybe this doesn't want to be parenthetical there. Maybe we do want it like that. Now I'm seeing that there's intentionally parentheses on this side. Maybe there shouldn't be on that side. Maybe it's V over 4 times pi. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. All right, let's see if that does us any better here. Math? Nope. All right, let's just try something here. I'm just gonna make a copy of this, and I'm gonna copy that formula over here and see what we get back out of this, because we can just easily, we should be able to go back and forth, right? They should just calculate back and forth, basically. So let's see here. We'll say F at, we'll just call it test, that's fine, equals, then we'll paste this in here, and let's see what number we get out of this. Oh, right. If we do F at volume, huh. Why am I getting 1 out of that? That's really odd. What if I do this? No. Interesting. Didn't like 1 divided by 3 in that. But that's also not bringing us properly back, which is not cool. Interesting. I mean, maybe that's just it's not just like a rounding error at this point. It doesn't really seem like it. Man, that seems really massively off. Yeah, it's not even changing. R to the third. So are you saying this isn't right here? This formula? I mean, it's close. And then but you have to cube root it, right? To be able to get that out of there. So you're saying it's volume divided by pi? Okay. Yeah. Right. And then you cube root that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's give it a try. I don't know why this is written so weird then. Okay. Internet, you failed me. Maybe I just can't read it right. Okay. Let's see here. So you're saying the volume divided by pi. Cool. Let's just rewrite this then. Interesting. So let's take at volume divided by pi. And then multiply that by 3/4. I'm not missing anything there, am I? I'm still getting, now I'm getting 0 for the test. Yeah, see, that's interesting. It's getting so close, but it's like not there. It's so weird. I wonder if it's like a rounding error. Maybe they're just, the numbers are too small. Yeah, I wonder if it's like a float, like a float calculation thing, because the volume is such a tiny number. All right, so in key, wild idea. Maybe set a float to equal 1/3, then put that in the float as the argument. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's just call this float third equals 1 divided by 3. And then this will be what? Yeah, it's super small. Yeah, it's probably because it's super small. And I'm just trying to think of what to do about that. Because, like, if we... Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't work. That seems crazy to me. Like what? That doesn't work? I, what? How does that not work? I mean, does this work? Huh. There isn't like a root or anything, right? SQRT. What does this do? There is a cube root. There is a cube root. Let's see. Not to say that that's going to do anything, but let's see. Cube root. Nope, same value. Are the 3 and 4 being calculated as 3.0 and 4.0? Yes, they should be. That shouldn't matter at all because we're saying that this is a float, right? We're telling it that these are float values. So yeah, it's not changing that at all. And this, oh, it could be here. Yeah. This one could be doing that. But anyways, there we go. So now we have a cube root. So we don't even have to, we can get rid of that thing. But yeah, it's probably just the size of these numbers. They're probably just way too small. I bet you if Jeff Late was watching this, he'd be like, oh yeah, you're running into like floating point precision errors or something stupid like that. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to join the Discord server, you can get a invite link over at houdinihangout.com. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe I should store them at 100 times their value. Yeah, like 1,000 times their value. That's a good point. And then whenever I need to do a calculation with them, I just divide them by 1,000 first. Probably a good call. A placeholder value for P scale. Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah, so if the P scale is bigger. Yep. That's a great point. It's easier. So like if I do like 100 here. Nope. Nope. That didn't work at all. Okay. What? That is wacky. We're losing like 10% of it in this calculation. How is that possible? I mean, like if we go up to like, there shouldn't be any floating point precision errors there. That's like, those are big numbers. Oh, why is this getting smaller? Maybe there's something wrong with my formula. Yeah, the volume is getting smaller. Oh no, the volume is getting, sorry. The volume's getting, it's e to the 21, sorry. I'm dumb. You're right. Wow. I am so stupid. I can't believe that was it. Huh. I never realized that you had to write it. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. That solves it. No, it's great. It's great. I just never knew that that was a thing. Wow, I feel really dumb. Okay. Anyways, so here we go. That should work now. Spit right back out the right thing, and we're all set. No floating point errors at all. Yeah, data types are gremlins. Yes, that is true. I did not know it was that explicit in here, so interesting. All right, so this is the formula that we need to bring back in there. Should be pretty easy. Great. Sorry for that rabbit hole, everybody. Hopefully we will be better now. So we need some volume is the one we're going to use. So we're going to say times some vol like that. Oh, that's not where I want to see this. Ambiguous call. Ambiguous call. Yep. So I'm so ambiguous. Yeah, they're getting bigger. They are getting bigger. Interesting. Kind of ridiculously large. So that would be nice to have those like drops like going off behind it. But it's working. Here, let me make it a little bigger so we can all look at it closely. Yeah, it's working. The drops are getting too big. It's almost like I want to speed them up like crazy if they go much bigger. What was I using to drive that? Was it the mass? What was I using to drive that? Kind of wonder if I should just drive it with the P scale instead of the mass, because like now we're calculating like so many things in here. It's kind of silly. Gravity force. This is with the mass. Yeah, I kind of think we should just use P scale instead. What was our P scale values for these incoming particles here? We can just adjust that appropriately. There's actually bigger numbers anyways. Let's see, available P scale 0.004 to 0.0019. Okay, let's try that out. Let's say 002, 0.004. I think those are the numbers I just said. My brain is starting to lose it a little here. 002, 004. Yep, that's good. And what I could actually do here too is I could do this as a like not an exclusively clamped thing, but I could do like an E-fit on this. And then that will extend that past. So that might be smarter. Well, let me just do the fit first and see how that works. Doing that with this. Let's see how we get this going here. Yeah, the speed definitely picks up on those as they get bigger. Almost feel like the speed should get faster sooner. And like the bigger they are, the more they should drop off little drips behind it. All right, let's just do something else here just to kind of move on to another section of this to make it look a little nicer maybe. Okay, let's turn on these trails. See how this looks, right? Yeah, I think we want to do that E-fit. I think we want it to go faster. Let's just see. Getting too big. Okay, I'm going to just do a little thing here again. Just let's make a little call here. So let's just say it's only going to add half of the volume each time. I think that might be better. Maybe get less runaway on it, and it won't quite increase as wildly. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. All right, so we've got this copy to points here. Let's do a VDB from particles. Actually do that over here. Okay. I think that looks right. Yeah, that seems right. Okay. And then we're going to use this as well here to get a VDB from polygons. Let's see here. So we'll do that. And we'll just paste the relative reference here with this. Sorry, I missed those comments there, Enki. This is why people say you need a computer science degree to learn Houdini. Yeah, would be nice. I've said that before. It'd be nice to have one. And yes, Zach, that was a helpful rabbit hole, and I probably knew that at some point, and I've unfortunately, had enough time to forget that. But here we are. That's too many voxels, maybe. Let's see here. Could we do this at 0.2? Well, I think that'll be plenty of resolution. Yes. Yes, I think we'll be fine with that. So let's do a subtract here. Okay, cool. And then if we do a smooth SDF, get a nice bit of something there. And let's do a reshape. I'm going to do Houdini Hangout sponsored by Significant Figures. Sometimes pi equals 3 is not good enough. Yep, that is very true. Very true. All right, so let's do maybe 2 levels of dilation here, and then erode it by 2 as well. Not that. We want to do erode. That'll just let us get a little bit of blobbiness here, maybe. Now that is pretty unrealistic that one's not moving, but that's okay. I'm just gonna ignore that. Let's see if we can maybe reduce that down. So those are, we want to kind of link those together. This is sort of like what happens with like the surface, the surfacing stuff. All right, let's see. That's something there. Are we not? Oh, we're not getting those smaller drops. We do need it to be even tinier, don't we? Oh man, this is going to be a real fun one. So I think yeah, that's probably too much. Computer's doing all right with it, but it's definitely a lot. If we do 7.5. That might have to do. Have I saved lately? Thank you. I usually turn on the autosave before, but yes, thank you. Good call. I mean, this is not, my computer's fine with this. Like, this number of voxels is not an issue, but yeah. All right, let's go a little further here and see what happens. Let's just go to like this frame here. Yeah, I think what we'd want to do is, instead of trailing that, I think we'd want to sweep that. I think that would be a better way of doing this. Let's think about that here. So instead of trailing that, connect it as polygons. No. All right, let me think about this. We could do an add, right? I think that would work. If we did an add, we did this polygons by group, by attribute, ID. Oh, right. Sorry. We got to do a trail. We need the trail there as well. And we'll just do these. Oh, can we do, sorry. Is there a way to do this? Am I thinking of this wrong? Connect as polygons. No. Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not missing something painfully obvious. Okay, there we go. There's our trailer of those. And then we can do an add here now. Okay. By group, attribute, it should be ID, I think should work. There we go. And then we should be able to, I actually wonder if this would be better to do from VDB from polygons, if it'd be faster instead of from the particles. Yeah, let's try it. Well, I can just do this, actually. Oh gosh, that is way faster, isn't it? Interesting. All right, that's fine. So instead of copying... All right, so we just have to do some shifting here. Let's invert this selection, but not at that point. Let's invert this here. We can wire it up a little nicer, like that. And then we can take this and add a sweep to it. And we can maybe apply the scale along the curve. This is going to be a round tube. What is going on here? I don't have any normals on this, so I don't think. Do we have normals? We do. Where are those normals coming from? Interesting. Where are those normals coming from? Did I set a normal in here or something somewhere? No. All right. Well, let's just rebuild this. That's fine. Orientation along curve. Throw that in there. Let's see. Can we do a round tube? There we go. What in the world is going on with this thing? I think we can resample this. If I do this. I thought maybe that might grab the P scale. Interesting. What about something like polywire? This might actually be better. Okay. Let's just do a resample and we can get a curve view from that. All right, and this might be better to use anyways, so let's give this a try. We'll use curve view. Sure, something like that. What is happening there? Maybe we do want that orientation along curve. Maybe. Or just delete the attribute. Maybe that would be even better. Delete our normal attribute. I don't think we're going to use the sweep. Just delete normal. There we go. Looks fine. Resample. Something like that. Get the curve view. And then we should be able to calculate that out pretty easily now. So if we take our I should not have done that. That's all right. So now if we were to take right here, we could do just do a point. I'll just do a point wrangle. We've written enough wrangles. Why not just write another? Great. Let's do that. And we'll just take the curve view and multiply it by the p-scale. So let's do f at p-scale times equals curve u, f at curve u. So no, we want to invert that though. We'll just invert it like this and do 1, 0. But we want to round those ends. Yep. So let's do ch ramp. And then we'll call this sweep. I don't know. Curve view ramp. We'll do fit 0, 1 like we were before. And make sure that's all like that. And we should be able to do that. Cool. Now we've got a ramp here. Let's maybe resample this just a little bit more. Sure, I want a ridiculous thought. I'm probably doing this way too complicated. What's the ridiculous thought? I can't wait to hear something that I could have done so much smarter. Oh, I'm trying. Thank you. Let's do all of this and switch it to B-spline. No, that's too much. For overly complex click, yeah. I feel like I'm getting close to overly complex here, you know? Like, I think I'm doing an okay job with overly complex. All right, let's see how that looks. What do we got? What do we got here? Let's see. Oh, that's from particles. Oh, interesting. Right. I don't actually have to do this polywire now that I'm thinking of it, because just cancel that. There we go. Delete that. We don't need the polywire because we could just do it from the particles, right? No, no. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, let's do this. Although this is going to do nothing now because those aren't actually polygons, so. Oh, nope. That's bad. Bad, bad, bad. Just realized what I was doing there. It's copying points to those polywires. That's wrong. That is wrong. Wrong. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's do VDB from that. Cool. Let's see, what size are these normally? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like the right, to get the breakup on the trail that's going behind it. Is that what you're saying? Like the droplets that are kind of getting trailed behind? Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Do like a little vellum sim after it. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Um, let's just do that maybe. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the look of this is going to be here. I don't know. It doesn't look right. I'd have to look at some reference and figure out what the heck I'm doing here. Yeah, maybe like that. I don't know. Something. Let's do like that. Actually, this is better. The VDB from particles there. Okay. And then we can do a STF union here. Boom. Curious how big these particles actually were. Let me just see here. If I merge those back in, just want to see the difference in size of these particles. I actually think that's wrong. Interesting. Yeah, I think this should be 0.5. Kind of crazy scale, but that's the scale that they are coming in. Interesting. Let's look at this here. Yeah, I think we need to figure out a better way of doing that, because it's like they're scaling way too much. Interesting. Why is it doing that? That's goofy. Yep, I think we have to get rid of this. Get rid of this. And do that, maybe? Yeah, I think that's the way we got to do it, actually. Yeah, it's not right, but what are you going to do? Not perfect. Could the active particles be a spawn source for a second popnet? Yeah, definitely could be. Yeah, you could randomly spawn from those. There's all sorts of stuff you could do. The only bad thing about that is then it wouldn't interact with the other particles that are coming, like the other drop streams that are coming behind it. But yeah, it's certainly possible. Yeah, there you go. We're getting somewhere there. And I think, since we're getting a little late here, I think that might be where I'm going to end the stream here. I don't know if we're going to keep doing any more of this. I think we've kind of hit a little bit of like the diminishing return phase of this, where it's like we could really go crazy with it. But I think we've kind of highlighted a bunch of different topics and things like that here that are pretty interesting, I hope, and different ways that you can do things. I mean, obviously, all of this can be done so many different ways that it's kind of like, you know, there's so many different options. I mean, you could do this with a flip sim with, you know, trying to do some sort of surface tension or MPM or something like that. You know, maybe even Vellum could do it. You know, there's lots of different things that could certainly be done there. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it. Just because, like I said, we're getting a little late here, and I could see this just continuing forever and noodling stuff and things like that. But that's kind of why I want to leave this thing. That's kind of the reason we do these things, right? Is like, I love seeing. Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for helping out with the math. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But like, I think part of it is like, for me, is that I don't have all the answers. I'm not like this amazing artist or anything like that. It's just, this is, you know, I just love kind of working in this medium, right? In Houdini. And I love seeing the stuff that you guys, you know, like we're even posting a little bit in like the work in progress stuff. It's super cool to see people throwing that in the Discord server. If you are interested in joining that, feel free, HoudiniHangout.com. You can get a link to it there. And so like seeing that is super cool to me, because it's like, oh yeah, you took this silly little thing that I've done here that doesn't really even look all that great, and taken the ideas from it and made something that's really starting, things that are actually starting to get towards a nice looking project, basically. Maybe I have too much condensation on here. I don't know. I'm not really like looking at this in that much critical detail yet. You'd really want to probably kill the particles off when they hit the bottom, because then they're just spinning around down at the bottom. Like that would kind of silly. But I think this is sort of how I would go about doing it, and hopefully seeing someone, think through some of these different workflow ideas and things like that is at least helpful or valuable on some level. And if not, you can just tell me and the suggestions to don't ever do that again. Just kidding. But yeah, like I said, that's where we're going to end for this evening. If you do have any suggestions, feel free to drop those in the Discord server. There's a topic suggestion area there. And yeah, I like to look through that and see ideas for different stuff. Next week, we should be... Let me just make sure I'm not lying before I say that. Next week is... I think we should be all good. Oh, no. Next week, I will be out of town, actually, again. Shoot. I'm going up to a little short conference up in Toronto. So there won't be anything that week. But the next week, I will be back again. Sorry, there's been a lot of travel recently, so my apologies. I do like to do this, but unfortunately, sometimes things come up. So yeah, so it won't be next week, but the week after. If you have suggestions or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the chat. And maybe by the week after, I'll be in my new streaming area, and I'll have a nice, much better connection, and maybe I can even up the quality a little bit of the stream, because I've been wanting to do that, but have been afraid on my very limited upload. So with that all being said, thank you guys all so much for joining and for being a part of the stream. It's always so nice to get to chat with you. Got to meet actually some of you in person in Salt Lake City recently, which was really fun to get to chat with you guys. And yeah, so thank you all for being here, and I will catch you all next time. Everybody have a great night, and talk to you later.